Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Gukarastvandhakaro vai Rukarastanivartakaha Andhakara nirodhitvat Gururitya vidhiyate. Welcome to this first Midwest retreat. I'm really happy to see all of you here from different areas of the Midwest. And I think they've selected a very good place here. This is a nice auditorium. They were concerned that the teacher is sitting at a lower level and the students are sitting higher level. But this is 21st century, you know. So things have to change. So you're looking down upon me, that's what it is, you know. And I am looking up to you, which is good for a change. But the important thing is that I can see all of you very clearly, and so can you. For this short weekend retreat, we have selected a short text called Sadhana Panchakam, of which you have the handout here. Panchakam is the word derived from the word Panchan. Panch means 5. Panchakam, group of 5. A group of 5 verses is called Panchakam. Similarly, Shatkam, group of 6 verses. Ashtakam, group of 8 verses. Dashakam, group of 10 verses. Because there are compositions consisting of this and many more verses. Shatakam, group of 100 verses. Upadesha Sahasri, consisting of 1,000 verses. Apparently, this great teacher, Adi Shankaracharya, who is the author of this short work called Sadhana Panchakam, has composed a number of texts of Vedanta. He is perhaps one of the greatest sages of India, one of the greatest scholars, greatest reformers, and a great devotee, great karma yogi, a great jnani, a combination of love and devotion, of course, knowledge and wisdom, all of which manifested in his life in terms of the service to the humanity, service to the nation, service to the culture, service to humanity. And the primary work that Shankaracharya did, by the way, he manifested in India some 1200 years ago, minimum 1200, plus or minus a few hundred. At that time, the spiritual atmosphere in India was one of a great confusion, where so many different sects and opinions existed that people were confused and misguided. Not only that, but the primary source of knowledge of India, which was the Vedas, these Vedas also were relegated to the background, and therefore people were deprived of the real wisdom which is most necessary to live life, happy life. So primary work of Adi Shankaracharya was to revive the Vedic culture, revive the Vedas and Vedic teaching, and spread the teaching round the country to educate the people into the true vision that the Vedas provide. Vedas, as you know, are the original source books. The word Veda is derived from the root Vid, means to know. So Vedas are a body of knowledge, and it is our Shraddha or the trust that Vedas are apaurushaya, meaning that they are not a product of human mind, they are revealed texts. The texts that are revealed to rishis or sages. So, rishis, rishaya, mantra drashtaraha, they are called the drashtas or the seers of mantra. Meaning that the Veda mantras or the passages of Vedas are not composed by even rishis, they are seen by them, revealed to them. It's a revealed knowledge. And therefore, the knowledge that is free of all the limitations of a human mind. We look upon Vedas as pramanam or the valid means of knowledge, authentic knowledge. And these Vedas have primarily two sections. First is section dealing with the karma or ritual or the active life. And second is the section dealing with jnanam, knowledge or the life of contemplation. Thus the Vedas see human life as consisting of two stages. The human spiritual development is looked upon as made up of two stages, the life of activity and life of contemplation. Life of activity, all called karma, and contemplation, jnanam, karma and jnanam. These are the two topics, subject matters, karma kanda and jnana kanda section dealing with karma or activity, and section dealing with jnanam or knowledge, which itself indicates that the Vedas prescribe a way of living an active life, which is primarily householder's life. To live the life in such a manner that a person becomes ready for jnanam or the knowledge, which is the second stage of development. So karma or activity be performed with such an attitude that karma brings about what we call emotional maturity, brings about the inner purification of mind, creates in mind a desire for knowledge. Thus, if a person lives life intelligently, if the active life is lived intelligently, it will make a person mature, such that ultimately knowledge will become important to him. The desire for knowledge will arise. In the second section of Veda, Jnana Kanda, is also called Vedanta, also called Upanishads, would be then the answer to satisfy the desire for knowledge. So karma and jnanam, two stages of spiritual development. And Vedas look upon the human life as having a very noble purpose, which is called moksha, or liberation, or unconditional happiness, or unconditional freedom. It recognizes that that's what a human being is searching for in life. We all want to be not only happy, but we want unconditional happiness. Meaning that we do not want our happiness to depend upon any conditions such as time or place or situation. Meaning that I want to be happy at all the times, in all the places, and all situations if I had my way. So happiness is not conditioned by time, place or situation. And happiness is the same as freedom. Where there is freedom, there is happiness. So unconditional freedom or unconditional happiness, that is most dear to the heart of every human being. And that is what every human being is constantly searching for. And Vedas show us the means to attain that goal. That goal is called moksha, attainment of limitless happiness, attainment of limitless or unconditional freedom. Now, an important revelation the Vedanta makes is, where is that happiness or where is that freedom? From the time that we are born, we are in search of happiness and freedom. But habitually, we always look outside of ourselves in search of that freedom or happiness. There is a statement in the Upanishad called Kathopanishad, which is said, Paranchakhani vyatano swayambhuhu tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman. The Creator has created our mind and sense organs extrovert. Therefore, we always look for happiness or freedom outside of ourselves. Nantaratmanam, meaning that we do not look at ourselves in search of what we want in life. This is called extrovertedness, which is based on conclusion that what I am seeking in life is outside of me. Somehow there is a conclusion in my mind that as I am an inadequate being, incomplete being. As I am not sufficient, I am not happy. I have to become something to be happy. I have to achieve something to be happy. Therefore, usually our life is characterized by achieving, becoming, achieving what we don't have, becoming what we are not. Except that, regardless of what we achieve, we can never achieve the limitless. Regardless of what we become, we can never become limitless, because whatever we become is going to be limited. Whatever we achieve is going to be limited. And so then someday this insight should arise in our mind that what I am looking for is not to be found outside of myself, is to be searched from my own self. Kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanam avruta chakshuhu amrutatvam. Upanishad says, Kaschid dhiraha, some wise, discriminating person, amrutatvam, desiring immortality, desiring limitless happiness, Avruta chakshuhu, he turned his mind and sense organs inward, looking towards himself. Atmanam ikshat, and had recognized the true nature of his own self. Meaning that the Upanishads reveal that what we are searching for is to be found as ourselves and not outside of ourselves. You must have all heard the story of this 10th man in an Indian village. Once upon a time, a group of children expressed a desire that we want to go away for a picnic. But in the village, you cannot do something unless you have the permission of the elders. So all of them went to an elderly person in the village and sought permission from him. Sir, tomorrow you want to go for a picnic, can we go? That person turned out to be a generous person. Usually they generally say, nobody says, oh, you can go. Just one simple condition, that one of you should take the responsibility of bringing all the children safely back. So one of them volunteered, I will do that. All right. Let me count how many you are. Line up in front of me. They all lined up in front of that old gentleman. He counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 of you. Make sure that you bring all of them safely back. I will do. Next day morning, they all set out for the picnic. And as they were traveling to go to the destination, they came across a river. It was not a very deep river, shallow river. They knew swimming, they all crossed the river. As they all reached the other bank of the river, the one who had volunteered to bring everybody back safely called everybody else and said, wait, before we proceed further, I want to verify if we have all reached safely. And he remembered how that old gentleman had counted them last night, so he also wanted to say, come on, line up in front of me, let me count. So they all lined up in front of him, he counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They remembered there were 10. And now there are 9. So a little concerned, he counted again, second, several times he counted, every time the count was 9. They invited one of his friends to come forward, maybe I am making a mistake. That boy came, this fellow joined the line and he counted. One by one, everybody came, they all counted 9. Because they all studied together in the same school, and so that they all repeated the same thing. And they all concluded that there are 9 of us, the 10th man is lost. Nobody even stopped to ask how did he look like, who is he, what is he. The conclusion is 10th boy is lost. And we have to search for him, we have to find him. So they divided themselves, search teams. Maybe he's drowned in water on this bank, on the other bank. And they searched for the missing boy for the whole day. Naturally they could not find him. Disappointed in the evening, they assembled where they had started from, at the other bank of the river, and not knowing what to do. Fortunately for them, another older man happened to pass by. And he saw these children were rather sad, so he came to them, what's the matter? Why do you look sad? Then this fellow got up and told the whole story, how one of them is lost. How did you determine that one of you? Because I counted. How did you count? He demonstrated. He asked his friends who all line up. He counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Naturally, the old person knew what the matter was. He says, don't worry, my children. I will tell you where the missing boy is. Oh, have you seen him? I have seen him. So these fellows thought that he has seen him someplace. Where is he? Count again. Carefully. So now he has all the hope, because this man inspired confidence in them. So now they have Shraddha, trust in him that he knows what he's talking about. With that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where is the 10th man? You are the 10th man. All of a sudden the tube light happened inside. Oh, I am the 10th man. Everything sort of fitted together. That whole equation. You are the 10th man is a Vedanta equation. You are the 10th man, meaning you are the one you are searching for. It's a very strange story. Whether such a thing can happen or not, I do not know, but it's a very nice story, very effective story. As to how, when they were searching for the 10th man, each one was searching for his own self. Each one was searching for 10th man, but each one is the 10th man, understand? Not only 10th fellow, each one is the 10th man, isn't it? When you count 9, then you are the 10th. So how many 10th men are there? Everyone is a 10th man, understand this? And therefore, when they are searching for the 10th man, each one is searching for his own self. Very strange, isn't it? How can this happen? That I am searching for my own self? The reason is ignorance. Vedanta says ignorance of one's own self. Meaning that not knowing that I am the 10th man. This ignorance has two aspects. Not only not knowing who I am, but taking myself to be quite contrary to who I am. Not knowing that I am the 10th man, but taking myself to be 9th man. So this ignorance has two aspects. One is not knowing what the truth is. Vedanta calls it avaranam, veiling the true nature of myself. In taking myself to be contrary to what I am, that's more dangerous thing. Just not knowing is not so bad as knowing something wrongly. So not only he did not know that he was the 10th man, he thought he was the 9th man. 10th man was lost. This is called ignorance, self-ignorance, ignorance of the self, which is what made these people search for their own self. And when do you think this search would be over? When do you think they could have found the 10th man? Could they ever found the 10th man? Never. Not only that, each one of them was convinced that I am not the 10th man. The 10th man is lost, I am not the 10th man, they are all convinced about it. And therefore they would have kept on looking and looking and looking forever. Therefore, in this particular case, you require someone to point out to you. Because it will never occur to me that I am the one I am looking for, because I am convinced that I am not that one. And therefore I need someone else to make me see the fact that the one I am searching for is myself. That someone else must be a very intelligent person to create a context to make me see. Therefore, this particular knowledge necessarily requires a teacher. Self-knowledge requires teacher because we are convinced about who we are. each one of us is born with self-consciousness. As human beings, we are self-conscious beings, meaning that conscious of ourselves. So that is the mark of evolution. The degree of self-consciousness marks evolution. All creatures have some kind of consciousness of themselves. I am sure a dog knows that I am a dog. It may not use that word dog, but it recognizes a cat as something different from himself, isn't it? So, some kind of an awareness that that is different from me. So, a dog treats another dog in one way, and a dog treats the cat in a different way. Is it not so? That means there is some kind of an awareness. So, some kind of self-consciousness is there. We don't say it is not there. Even a tree also must have some kind of self-consciousness as to what it wants and where to get its food and things like that. The self-conscious evolves. And its greatest evolution is in human being who is completely conscious of himself. And we have to pay the price of self-consciousness, price of evolution. See, human being walks erect. So what is the price? Backaches, That's what the doctors tell us. Similarly, what's the price of this being the most evolved being? That we are conscious of ourselves. And what is our consciousness? I am constantly conscious of myself. I cannot escape consciousness of myself unless I am sleeping. But during all the waking hours, I am always conscious of myself. You know the reason? The reason is because self is self-revealing, self-effulgent, and therefore it reveals to myself, and therefore I always am aware of myself. And so, what is my awareness? I am a limited, inadequate being. I am looking for that limitless happiness. What's the conclusion? That limitless happiness is somewhere else. Like the 10th man thinking there, the 10th man is elsewhere and searching for him. So also every human being believes that the happiness that I am seeking, the freedom that I am seeking is out there. And so we look everywhere. You go to the top of the mountains, in the, in the earth, depth of the earth, oceans, any moon, now Mars, and maybe after 100 years something more, which is wonderful. I mean, this particular thing has resulted into a tremendous amount of knowledge and development of human being. The external development of human being for attaining that happiness and freedom. But that of course we cannot attain. But the side, there have been what we call the avantara phalam, the side benefits, benefits is all this technological development. It's amazing. Like for example, the 10th man, for searching the 10th man, they feel that I think we are losing time. So they will evolve certain vehicles. For searching for the water, they might develop some kind of a little boat and then make it more sophisticated and motorized and submarine. All kinds of things they can learn, and evolve, invent. For searching for on the ground, they may have all kinds of ground vehicles. Even for aerial, let us see whether. So satellite, all developments can take place for what? Searching for the 10th man. So similarly, human life also, lots of developments is there in searching for the 10th. Who is the 10th man? That freedom or happiness. But you can never get what is not there. So this is where Vedanta comes into picture. Vedanta says, Tattvamasi, that thou art, what you are searching for is your own self. That is called knowledge. And so, this composition of 5 verses is called Sadhana Panchakam, a group of 5 verses which describes sadhanam. Sadhana means an end. The goal and the means to achieve the goal. In every endeavor, there are always 2 aspects. Something that we want to achieve and the means of achieving it. All of you came here, this is the goal. Sadhyam we can call it. Sanskrit you call it sadhya. That which is to be achieved. The one who wants to achieve is called sadhaka. The achieve wants to achieve. And the means by which you achieve is called sadhanam. So I was in Pennsylvania. I was a sadhaka, a seeker. Sadhyam is Chicago. Sadhanam is what? I guess it's an aeroplane. So what is sadhanam? That which connects sadhaka with sadhya, with seeker and the sought. Seeker is connected to sought by the means, that's called sadhanam. Sadhana Panchakam, sadhanam. Now, there are 2 kinds of sadhanam, 2 kinds of means. Normally, sadhana means that we know is a means of achieving what is not achieved. For example, I go to school and college, universities, I get degrees, I get job, I get business, do business, and then to earn money, to be a wealthy person, to be a happy person. All of that is the sadhanam or means for achieving what I do not have. Right now I don't have money, I do something to become wealthy. I don't have education, I do something to become learned. I do not have something, I adopt an appropriate sadhana or means to achieve what I do not have. So usually sadhanam is a means of reaching where I am not, like from Pennsylvania or Salisbury to Chicago. There is a distance in space, and sadhanam can bridge that distance in space. There is a distance in time between the seeker and the sought. Like every child wants to become big. Poor fellow, when we grow old, we always like to become children. You know how happy that fellow is. We think, the child doesn't think. Child wants to grow up. Or wants to become like his father or like his elder brother. Anyway, that's his role model. That requires time. What separates the child from what he wants to be is time. So sometimes the distance between the seeker and sought, they are separated by space, sometimes they are separated by time, sometimes they are separated by situation. Like a poor man wants to become wealthy. By state. Poverty is one state, wealthiness is another state. Sometimes the seeker and sought, sadhana and sadhya are separated by time, place or state. And we should adopt appropriate sadhanam appropriate means to bridge that gap between the seeker and the sought. That's the common understanding of sadhana, or means of achieving what I do not have, of reaching where I am not, or becoming what I am not. Sadhana means for becoming what I am not, reaching where I am not, or achieving what I do not have. And they are all busy in one or the other things. Unfortunately, that is all right. Unfortunately, that happiness or freedom that we want to achieve. So, what is the separation there? I am now the seeker of happiness. Happiness is sought. What separates the seeker and the sought in this instance? What separates the 10th man from what he is searching for? Because they are not separated by time. Where this fellow is, that fellow also is. Not separated by space, not separated by state. What separates them? Ignorance separates them. It's a very strange thing. Ignorance also can create a sense of separation, not real separation. Meaning that ignorance does not make this person non-10th man. Ignorance cannot change anything. But ignorance creates a notion that I am not the 10th man. 10th man does not become non-10th man. Ignorance does not change anything. All that ignorance does is, it creates a notion, I am not the 10th man. But that's enough to take him for a ride, constantly searching for something that he already is. Thus, this is a very peculiar situation. That is the 10th man where what separates the seeker and the sought is ignorance. And ignorance is like darkness. Just as darkness can be dispelled only by light, so also ignorance can be dispelled by knowledge. And therefore here, knowledge is the means of attaining what I want. What does the knowledge do? How did the 10th man attain the 10th man? Not that he attained 10th man. What happened in the 10th man is, this teaching that you are the 10th man simply removed the notion that I am not the 10th man. Understand? Knowledge also doesn't change anything. Knowledge just removes ignorance or the notion born of ignorance. How do you know that is ignorance? Ignorance creates this notion. How do we say this fellow is ignorance? Because there is notion that I am not the 10th man. That means ignorance is working. So what does the knowledge do? Knowledge removes the notion born of ignorance. So it is not that by knowledge he achieved a 10th man, or he discovered 10th man. Only notion that I am not the 10th man was removed, and therefore what he was just became revealed to him. Similarly, Vedanta says, you are the Tattvamasi, that thou art. That limitless happiness is you, is your nature. My nature. I am limitless. And so when we are told it's unbelievable. In fact, we are listening to this sentence for years together. And still, I guess many of us may not still be ready to believe it or to own it up. Because this conclusion that I am an inadequate being is so deeply rooted that our own mind does not cooperate with us to positively receive this statement. make it a reality of our life. That sense of inadequacy and therefore helplessness, dependence, sadness has become so deeply rooted that that mind somehow is not conducive to favorably accept the statement. Meaning that otherwise all of us would have been enlightened. I am telling you, you are limitless. That should have worked actually. Just that you are the 10th man. That worked. But when did it work, For that also, that old person who told him created a certain context. First of all, he said, I know where the 10th man is. Oh, you know him? So Shraddha is created. Shraddha means that trust is created. When trust is created, then this fellow's mind is available now to listen to this man. Otherwise, you won't listen. There's so many fellows come and go. I don't care what he says. Shraddha makes him listen to him and follow his instruction. Count the 10 men. He'll count. No, I already counted. What next? No, he does. Carefully does it. Carefully. So now he knows that 10th man is not out there because he has counted 9. Then he's ready when he's told that you are the 10th man. The context is created in his own mind to see this fact. Suppose he's walking as a 10th man, perhaps that may not have affected him, But you require to create a context and create that disposition of mind which is conducive for receiving this knowledge. Meaning that in order for us to benefit from this knowledge also requires a certain disposition of mind. A mind that is favorably disposed to appreciate the fact that, I could be limitless, that I am limitless, ready to own up that fact. This is called emotional maturity, or in Vedanta it's called the antahkarana shuddhi, or purification of mind. That mind is favorably disposed. Mind is favorably disposed. My whole personality is favorably disposed. Meaning that I need the favor of my own self, my own body, my sense organs, my mind, my intellect, my personality should become favorable to me, should become inward looking, should be inwardly poised. The extrovert mind should progressively become the inward looking mind and focused on the self. What is focused out there should be progressively made to focus on the self. Then the mind can see what the nature of self is. I cannot know the nature of self as long as the mind is focused out there. When you want to see something like some object in the sky, there is this Saptarshi, seven stars. And then the seventh star is a very, very fine little, it's called Arundhati, seventh star, is near Vasishtha. Is extremely feeble. It requires a lot of focus and sharp eyes to spot it. And so we slowly and slowly focus our mind and then tune up with that. Then you can see that star. So our minds will tune up to the self to be able to see the nature of the self. Therefore, along with this teaching, we also require some preparation of the mind, where the mind is inwardly focused. it is favorably disposed. Let us say in simple terms, it is happy with itself. Right now, I am not quite happy with my own self. To become happy with myself. Therefore, the sadhana or the means now is in two stages. Primary sadhana means is what? Knowledge. Because here, this is not achieving something that is not achieved, it is achievement of something that is already achieved. 10th one is already achieved, and so also the freedom is already achieved because my nature. Achievement of what is already achieved. Attainment of what is already attained. The very unusual thing. That is in two stages. One is preparation of mind, and secondly, the knowledge of teaching, with which I can see what the teacher says. I concur with that. Yes, you are right. So, Sadhana Panchakam, this group of 5 verses, gives us both the first stage, which is of the nature of preparation of mind, and second stage is of the nature of the teaching of the knowledge and assimilation of knowledge. And the final goal is owning up the fact that this limitlessness of my nature, that's called moksha or liberation. And Vedanta teaches that this goal or moksha is to be achieved in this life or in human life, while we are in human embodiment. It is not something to be achieved after death. It is to be achieved while we are alive. Meaning that it is possible that a person is alive in the body and still liberated. That moksha or liberation is something to be achieved in this life because it's already achieved. It's not to be achieved, really speaking. It's not, I don't have to become free to recognize that freedom is my nature. It is possible to recognize, and therefore one can be alive and gain this knowledge, gain liberation. It's called Jivan Mukti. Jivan Neva Mukta, Jivan Mukta, one who is liberated while living. That's the goal that Vedanta presents. Nobody else presents that goal. Most of the traditions or sampradayas always present the goal of reaching some paradise or heaven after the death. This is one Vedanta which says no, heaven or paradise also cannot be the goal, because even heaven also is going to be limited. There can be nothing limitless, because everything is created, and whatever is created is limited, even though it will be heaven. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Brahma bhuvanan lokaha punaravartino Arjuna. Here Arjuna, all the realms up to Brahma Loka, no, that's the highest heaven. In heaven also scriptures have climb very great heights. Not one heaven. Bhuhu, bhuvaha, suvaha, mahaha, janaha, tapaha, satyam. They talk of 7 heavens. There are descriptions of these also. And then there are 7 below also. Atala, vitala, sutala, tanatala, rasatala, mahatala, pata. 7 down below also. But Gita says, Vedanta says that even though heaven is a great thing and Brahmaloka is the highest heaven, but the greatest degree of pleasures are there, most sophisticated pleasures, but even they also are limited. Because it is created in time, therefore it will end in time. Even though it may be a long time as compared to human time span, but still it will come to an end. And so what we are searching for is not out there. It is my own self. And therefore has to be discovered as myself in this life itself. So Jivan Mukta, liberated while living. So this Sadhana Panchakam begins from where we are to that Jivan Mukti or Videha Mukti, liberation, moksha, in 5 verses. Each verse has 4 lines. Each line has 2 halves. So there were 8 sections are there. Each verse describes 8 steps. And thus the 5 verses describe 40 steps from where we are to where we should be. They are like the steps of a ladder. In Sanskrit called sopanam. So this is also called Sopana Panchakam. It is a group of 5 verses describing sopanam, or the steps of the ladder which we climb from where we are to where we should be. Or Sadhana Panchakam, meaning a group of 5 verses describing sadhanam, the means of achieving the goal. Or also the name is Upadesha Pancharatnam. Ratnam means a jewel. Pancharatnam, 5 jewels. Upadesha Pancharatnam, the 5 jewels of Upadesha or teaching. It is said that when Adi Shankaracharya completed the mission of his life, he was just 32 years old, by the way, that's what we are told. In 32 years, Shankaracharya achieved, as Pandit Nehru said, what a number of people cannot achieve in number of lifetimes is what he achieved in one short lifetime. And therefore, we don't look upon him as a human being, we look upon him as incarnation of Lord Shiva. Shankaracharya is said to be the incarnation of Lord Shiva. And really his active years were 16 years. He was born in Kerala, in Kaladi, in India, in South India. At the age of 8, he took sannyasa, or he became a renunciate. For that he travelled on foot from his birthplace Kaladi all the way to North Madhya Pradesh to the bank of Narmada. Because he had heard the name of his teacher, Govindapadacharya, and he wanted to be his disciple. So trekked all the way, came to Govindapadacharya. And for taking sannyas also, he had to trick his mother. Because his father had passed away when he was young, 3 years old, then he was given the Upanayanam, was sent to the teacher. At the age of 5, he completed all his Veda and came back. And he was teaching himself. But he wanted to become a sannyasi. So he requested his mother, Mom, please let me become a renunciate. Mother said, no, she was an old woman, so who will take care of me? You can't leave me. So one day it seems that this boy, his name was Shankara, was with his mother. They had gone for taking a dip in the river, Krishna river, which is near, flows in the same village. No, mother is at the bank of the river and the boy is in the middle of the river, and all of a sudden he screams, Mom, Mom, I'm dying because a crocodile has caught hold of me now. So Mom, please let me go. Now it is a tradition in India was that people became a sannyasi at the end of the life. It's called apat sannyasa. You become a sannyasi at the last stage of your life. Because the belief that a sannyasi goes to Brahmaloka. And so he says, Mom, please give me the permission to become a sannyasi. So far mother did not permit him. But now please give me permission to become a sannyasi. Now I am not going to live long. Mother said, okay, now the boy is not going to, he is already caught by his crocodile, he is dying. So she said, okay. As soon as she said, the crocodile let go of him. And there and then, in the presence of all the elements of nature, he took the vows of sannyasa and came and said, Mom, let me go. So where? I become a sannyasi. So then mother was very sad, but he let the child go. But mother extracted one promise from him, that you must be at the time of my death, you must be at the bedside. So he said, I'll come. From wherever I am, I'll certainly come at the time of your death. That's how we left at the age of 8. Came to bank of Narmada in Madhya Pradesh. And now in the Omkareshwar, there is a little shrine which shows Govinda Acharya and Shankaracharya. In that area, that is where it's supposed to be his guru was. And he stayed for 4 years, and in 4 years he got, the guru taught him the whole Vedanta, Brahma Sutras and everything. In those 4 years also he wrote, apparently his guru asked him to write Bhashya on Vishnu Sahasranama, which also he finished. The guru says, now you are all ready. At the age of 12, go to Kashi, write Bhashyas on the Upanishads and spread this knowledge. So went to Kashi. In those 4 years, from 12 to 16, he composed the commentaries, most famous commentaries of Shankar Bhashya on Brahma Sutra, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Prasthanatrayi. And also at that time came in contact with many scholars in Banaras. Many people came to him, became his disciples. At the age of 16, by the way, his parents were old and they did not have a child, and they performed, a lot of worship to Lord Shiva for having a child. Apparently Lord Shiva appeared in the dream and asked them, what do you want? You want a child who will live very long but rather dull, or you want a child who will live very short but very bright? He says, give us a bright child. So he was born with only 8 years of lifespan. So that crocodile at the age of 8 caught him and let him go, so then he got 8 more years. 16. So now 16, apparently, it said that one day he was teaching Brahma Sutras to his disciples, I think in Badrinath. At that time an old Brahmin came and asked a question of Shankaracharya from Brahma Sutra, sought a clarification, replied. And that question and answer between them went on for 8 days. So one of the disciples of Shankaracharya, Padmapadacharya, he saw that, hey, this is none other than Vedavyasa, this old Brahmana. And my teacher is none other than the incarnation of Lord Shiva. So then he said, one is Vishnu, one is Shiva. This will go on. Now, please, end your debate. Then that old Brahmin was Vedavyasa, who was the author of the Brahma Sutras, and he wanted to test, because he has written Bhashya Shankaracharya, but then what exactly is the depth of his knowledge? I am very pleased with your knowledge of the Bhashya. So I give you 16 more years. You go and spread this knowledge. So those 16 years, Shankaracharya traveled length and breadth of India for 3 times, they say, and went everywhere and spread it. He took up debates and discussions with various scholars to convince them of the vision of the Upanishads. Not to defeat them in debate or anything, but to convince them, because they were all seekers in their own way, and therefore he wanted them to really be benefited from this. That's how this Upanishad vision was spread in India. The whole Vedic culture was revived. Otherwise, India would have probably converted into something else. Right now, we may not be talking about this had these things not happened at that time. So all of us are highly indebted to, we call him Bhagavan Bhashyakara, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya, for what he did, and we are so blessed to have that heritage here. So he completed his mission at the age of 32, and he declared before his disciples that now I am ready to leave. So apparent disciples requested him, please give us some parting advice which we can remember in our life and which will guide us in our life. So he said that Shankaracharya uttered these 5 verses. So Upadesha Pancharatnam, Upadesha. Pancharatnam, the 5 jewels of Upadesha or teaching. So this is said to be the parting teaching of Shankaracharya's disciples. Sadhana Panchakam, Sopana Panchakam, Upadesha Pancharatnam. These are the 3 names for this composition. So when we meet in the next class, then we'll now start with the first verse. This is the background of this Sadhana Panchakam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.